Yeah, I gotta get this mustache going before that movie shows up. What's up, everybody? Stevdes here, and I'm just waiting to get into my hotel room at the unspecified hotel. And I was just on YouTube looking at the different Sonic movie, people reacting to Sonic's design, and Paramount promising to rehaul the character. I think it's good. I think them putting that message out there is definitely something good, but at the same time, them doing something like this just to appease the fans 6 months before the movie's supposed to come out, I don't see it. I really don't see it in 6 months. While the internet fixed it in a day, sure. But what I want to do is I want to put this video out and say that there really wasn't a lot to fix. Honestly, given that it's live action video game movies are always going to be bad. Alright, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Look at the Mario Brothers movie, look at the Street Fighter movie, look at the Mortal Kombat movies, which, oh my god, how did they get a sequel out of that? Regardless, when it comes down to live action movies in comparison to the video games, they're not going to be better. It's just a thing. That's just how it is. So what I want to do in this video is I want to just analyze the trailer from different points that I agree with and things that I don't agree with. And I understand that a lot of people is going to be, oh my god, why are you agreeing with anything that they're doing? They're completely ruining Sonic's character and da-da-da-da-da-da. Honestly, they did mainly one thing wrong in my eyes, and I love the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. I do, I really do. But to have such an uproar over every aspect of his design, it's a little far, internet. I mean, well, there's really nothing else to say. Let me just go ahead and go through. Okay, the first scene I want you to see is the one right here, where, he's in his ball. And looking at it, I have a horrible, I'll get to you in a moment. I have a horrible picture. I think I'm doing 144p, but it looks good. Alright, they got the spin dash right. They got the ball form right. They got him rolled up really well. You can see where the bristles are. You can see the bristles in comparison to the hair of the hedgehog. It is quite well done. I believed that when he landed, as you'll see, it was actually quite accurate. And I liked what they did there. By all means, the action scenes work. And Sonic's reaction to these scenes actually do work in scope. When it comes down to his reaction to the real life and what's going on around him, the reactions they're accurate. They're accurate. You actually feel it. You feel him landing the way he did. You feel him spinning in the rolling ball form. You feel that sort of energy because you're witnessing it. It's not a big deal. So that was a minor complaint, but we're going to get to the worst ones here shortly. Okay, so this scene coming up. Again, Stevdes unedited, huh? Yeah, this part where he walks sideways, he's putting the stuff in there. That's fine. Honestly, his hand movements, the thickness of his arms, his hands, they're fine. I really have no problem with that. It looks good. I'm not going to say it's the best, but it looks good. It looks like Sonic. Now, granted, Sonic has, like, the sort of... He doesn't really have fur on his arms. It's kind of furless on his arms. But that's where reality can kind of mix with fiction. That kind of works. So, let's go ahead and look at my main complaint about Sonic. This dreaded scene. Yeah, that does not look natural. Yeah, I will agree with the internet that Sonic looks way too human. I mean, look at those legs. Look at them. They're so freaky. He looks way too human. His body definition could be a little bit different. Could be way different. And I think that's where Paramount really needs to shine, because the rest of his design, I like. The sneakers look like actual sneakers Sonic would wear. It's not the fake sneakers that go halfway up his leg, you know? Well, not halfway up, it was halfway up his shin. They look like actual speed shoes. You know, it works. But the legs could get shorter, because his arms, I mean, if you look at this scene, how straight his leg is in comparison to how straight his arm is, you can tell just by looking at it from the wrist to the shoulder, and from the, let me see, try to point this, from the wrist to the shoulder, and down here from the hip to the ankle, you can tell there's a big difference in that length, and it makes him look way too human. Does not make him look as animated as he should be for a live-action cartoon movie. Live-action movie based on a video game. Of all the characters they need to get right, it's the one that's not live-action. Because everybody all over is like, oh yeah, Jim Carrey's amazing. Jim Carrey is definitely the guy. And even here, this scene where he's bending backwards, his arm, because his leg is so long, it's not really proportioned right. He's not getting as much of a stretch. And that's what the problem with the character is, as far as his body type. He's not getting as much action when he's interacting with himself. If he's like, I'll give you an example, just right there, that very example. When he's stretching back like that, it doesn't feel normal. It doesn't look like Sonic's getting much of a stretch out of that. It looks like he's just grabbing his ankle. If his legs were shorter, you'd probably feel that animation a lot better. Let's go ahead and, let me see, go to, boom, this scene. Now, right away, the Chaos Force is a big thing in Sonic, and when it comes down to this, you can see where it's going, and it feels right. Honestly, it feels right. Just the added blue electricity just adds to Sonic's powers. I mean, have you ever played a Sonic game where he's got that blue light behind him, like Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Heroes? Whenever he does the homing attack, or heck, even any of the modern Sonics, whenever he does the homing attack, there's that light. So, as far as a real life thing, that's accurate. That is very accurate, and I like what they did there. And this scene where he's taking off, like, you know, even then he's got the blue light behind him, and he did the Sonic Boom, which was cool. It was really cool. Okay, I'm looking forward to this, not just because Jim Carrey's Dr. Robotnik. Jim Carrey needed to be in a big movie again. And he brings a lot to Dr. Robotnik, I think. I think he'll do an amazing job. But when it comes down to Sonic's design, I like where they went. The eyes could be a little bit bigger. I'll always have that criticism. But as far as that scene, as far as the scene that I just showed you, where, you know, it's zoomed in on his eyes and the lightning going in there, that's good. I like that. But in a later scene, where unfortunately this happens, his eyes kind of shrank a little bit. You know, his eyes are not that defined in this. As a matter of fact, his teeth aren't that defined either. But I'll get into that little nitpick afterwards. Let's go ahead and go back to... Oh man, I can't get to the eyes without... Alright, let's just quickly go through this. There. You see how his eyes are a little bit higher there? Because he's focused, his eyes are a little bit more open. His eyes are a little more cartoony. His eyes are a little bit more defined. Compare this scene. Let's get the mouse. And actually, let's go ahead. Yeah, right there, right after the Chaos Forms get into his eyes. it looks more defined. You actually have a sort of definition. Yes, the eyes are not connected, but what hedgehog do you know in real life that has two eyes that are touching each other? If you know one, send a picture online. I have a Facebook. I want to know this. But let's go ahead and skip ahead here to the barn scene where we can have a nice good look at Sonic. And there he is. And you see what the problem is? If you don't see it, I do. And I'll tell you. Right up here on each side of his eyes aren't as defined. Now, you can argue that, oh, well, they were trying to do sort of an eyebrow thing and make more eye movement. Well, then the eyes don't morph when it comes down to that. The eyes before, when he was about to take off, are much more defined than those round little splotches there. However, I still like this design. I don't mind it. Because it's Sonic, he can get away with a lot more leniency. And when it comes down to this scene, that made me laugh. Legitimately, that made me laugh. That's exactly what Sonic would do in that situation. And the internet decided to go crazy because of everything. And this is where I wanted to address it. Everything, including, if I can find it, hashtag unedited, that. His teeth. Okay, real quick. Internet, I know you can be crazy. I know you can be idiotic sometimes. I know that there's a lot of people on the internet that care too much. But when was the last time a kid, or you as a kid, picked up a Sonic the Hedgehog game and said, I really want to see the tooth graphics? What is wrong with you? Alright, I can understand where the criticism is. As far as the body shape, as far as the eyes, as far as the head shape, as far as the internet making it better in a day, as opposed to 6 months later the movie comes out and we better see what the internet did. Why on God's green garden that we call Earth do you have a problem with the teeth? Seriously, when was the last time you picked up a Sonic game and you wanted to look at his teeth? Last time I saw Sonic, as far as, you know, him smiling, it was in Sonic Adventure 1, because I haven't played a Sonic game very often. I've not picked up and played a Sonic game recently, where he's in that sort of circular, like his main picture, and he's got that grin, and the only line you see is the black line that separates the top teeth from the bottom teeth. And this is what you're complaining about? His teeth? I mean, like I said, the internet is full of crazy people. It's full of crazy people. I would know. I am a crazy person. But I just fail to see where the argument is. As far as his hands, as far as his feet, I agree with it. As far as his legs, they need better. They need to be shorter, they need to be thinner, because Sonic was not muscular in the legs. He was quite thin in the legs, and because of the Chaos Force, that's why he can move fast. But I looked at this and I was like, it's not going to get much better. You know, it's not going to get much better. I don't see Paramount doing much better. I don't see Paramount, like, looking at that post that they posted to tell the fans, and they honestly honor that. I really don't see it. But if it happens, good job, fans. You made a difference. But his teeth, that might have been a step too far. Right? His teeth and his hands and the shoes, that might have been a step too far. Okay? I did not look at Sonic for his teeth. I looked at Sonic because he is fast, he's a cool dude, and He's a member of my childhood, just like a lot of you that uproared about this. But, as always, I want to know what you think. Do you think there are some things about the design that are redeemable, given that it is a live-action video game movie? Or do you think the design's completely horrible, and you think I'm a moron for considering anything that I said was right? Like I said, when he's about to run, amazing. When he's shocked, not so much. But the legs need to change, and the teeth, come on internet, calm down. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I'll be back to What Ifs as soon as I can. I'm in the middle of a class, and there's a bunch of other stuff going on. And also, my internet service provider that should have sent me my new modem, which I am also refusing to share the name of until I switch, has decided to not send the modem because it was supposed to be at my house Monday, if not Friday. It's been over a week. So, this is where things are getting slow on my end, and I do apologize. I want to go back to the what ifs. I've made 3 scripts since being off the times, and it should be 4 after this whole class. But thank you all so much for watching, and I just wanted to put my own little spin on Sonic, no pun intended. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.